of the service industry. Our job is to serve people. And people who are really good at sales are not really good at pushing people into buying their products. People who are really good at sales are really good at connecting with people and serving their needs. Okay? And so you don't have to be good at sales. You need to be good at making friends and connecting with people. This is about service and finding out how you can serve the needs in the marketplace. Because everybody doesn't need what you have. But 31 has some awesome products, and some people do. So how can you provide value to other people's lives? Because we're going to talk about, we have a long day here, and I can tell you right now that I always give out more information. If I do everything on this list that I would like to talk about, we'll probably be here till like 10 o'clock at night. But we're going to do our best to keep it organized and bring it all together so that when you leave here, you have good ideas, solid action steps on how to get more bookings, right? Because I was looking at your, what's it called, the rewards flyer.
Dream Rewards?
Dream Rewards. And you know what, that's almost over, right? May 31st. But yet, if you were to do one show a week at the company average of 469 for March, April, and May, you'd get the $250 to go to conference, even if you have nothing on your calendar right now. Well, that's all it takes, one. And the consultants who go to national conference, the consultants that go to all the meetings are the ones that are always successful. Always. The more events that you go to. All it takes to get $250 at conference is one show a week, 3 months in a row, and you got $250 to go there with.
Piece of cake.
Right, it is a piece of cake. Especially after this class.
Yes. That's why we're doing it. I want you girls to have the skills to be successful.
Right, and so when I started my business, I was really big time concerned about people thinking I was like unprofessional, because I've been professional in the industry for so long. And so I decided to take all the systems that I had in my corporate job and apply them to my business. And we're not going to talk a lot about some of them, but one of them, for example, like professionalism, first of all, because I know as soon as I say professionalism, people think, I'm not working full time, right? Professionalism is not a time commitment. Professionalism is an attitude. So you can work 40 hours a week in your 31 business with a professional attitude and you can get a professional paycheck. Or you can work part-time with a professional attitude and you can get a steady paycheck on a part-time level. Or you can work on a hobbyist level, like whatever, one show a week or one show every other week, but with a professional attitude and get a consistent, smaller, hobbyist-style paycheck. Professionalism is attitude. And so that attitude is what guarantees your success, because learning systems, studying, being here, right? Congratulations for being here, because when you invest in your education, people who invest in their education, I don't know the exact numbers, so don't quote me on this, but if you were to study your chosen trade 20 minutes a day, every day for a year, within 1 year you would be in the top 10% of your trade. Doesn't matter whether you're a plumber or whatever. And for me, like when I first started my business, I educated and came to these kind of events, studied, went to outside educators, and within 8 months, I had a salary capable of replacing an $80,000 a year job, and I was in the top 20 people of the entire company in personal sales. And so all it takes is a commitment to growth, 20 minutes a day of education, you will excel in your field, no matter what it is. That's a professional attitude. Professionals invest in themselves. Investment isn't always money. Sometimes it's time, emotions, things like that. But so another example of a professional attitude, like who here has their goals written down? Okay. Who here has a business plan written down? Okay. A business plan is a tool, and we're not going to talk about business plans, but this is an example. All successful businesses have a written business plan, because a business plan lays out their dreams, their goals, their actions, their profit, etc. And in this business, we tend to think, oh, let's do 2 shows a week. That's my goal. Well, that's great, but if your expenses exceed your sales, what is your real goal? What's your profit goal? And so real businesses focus on profit and a business plan that has courses of action. So a business plan is a system of success. I'm not going to talk about that. But that's an example of what I mean by treating your business like a profession. It's like investing in yourselves, investing time into your business, and putting systems in place, because when you put enough systems in place, your business will start to self-perpetuate and become, it's hard, like you knew, everybody that's new, I know sometimes we come in thinking it's going to be really easy, and we're going to squeeze it in. But a professional goes to work every day, does their job, they don't squeeze it in. And so the beauty of working from home is that we can work anytime we want, day or night, and control our total schedule, but we need to schedule it. We need to plan when we're going to work so that we get the results we want. And that's a system. Scheduling your work hours is a system for success. You know, you don't have any store, any dentist, any business that doesn't have a schedule. That's a system. And so as a party plan consultant, what's your schedule? It's really hard to schedule shows if you don't know your own schedule. So, well, let's see here. Where should we start now? Those are examples of professionalism, okay? And that's what successful business owners treat their business like a profession, even if they only want to work a teeny weeny little bit. It's more about your attitude. So, bookings, right? Bookings. Everybody wants bookings. Feel free to answer questions, get up, or I'll answer them. You ask them. Feel free to ask questions and go to the restroom or do whatever you want as we go along here. But I want to start by talking about bookings. I am going to challenge you to stop bookings. Don't be booking anymore. Bookings is a technical term that makes it harder to schedule shows. It's so technical, in fact, that it's like people, like when you talk at your show, oh, when you book a show, the hostess gets this for free. When you book a show, there's extra credit. I'd love to get a booking. Have you thought about booking a show? Booking. How about when you invite me to your home? How about when you schedule a show, the host gets extra credit? Bookings is a technical term that is not something that you hear normal people use. It's a trade term that we use in the industry. And it alone is kind of cold. And so you want to switch your focus. It takes practice. And especially because it comes from the top, you know, the corporate literature uses that terminology. But you can start it anywhere you want. And at your home parties and say, one of the benefits of inviting me to your home is that the hostess gets free products. One of the, you know, when we schedule a show at your house, whose house are we getting together for fun at next week? Using the word bookings makes it more difficult to schedule shows. So if you can just switch that out in your terminology, that alone will make it easier to get your calendar filled up. So that's the first step. The second step is to have who here uses paper, or who here uses a paper calendar at their show? Calendar of events. Okay, cool. Everybody else, some people use digital only? Okay. And that's fine, whatever works for you. The reason I like to have a paper calendar is because paper calendars can establish a sense of urgency. When you're at a home party, and for those of you who are brand new, the act of preparing your calendar, like what? The ABCs of selling. ABCs of selling. This is important.
Always be closing.
Huh?
Is it always be closing?
Always be ready to close the deal, yeah.
Always be closing.
But you know what? That implies, I learned this from a vacuum cleaner salesman. Always be ready to close the deal implies that you're pushing them into doing what you want them to do. But really what it means is that if you're always ready to close the deal, in other words, if you're at the mall and you don't have your calendar, you can't close the deal if they're ready to book a show. It means that you're prepared to book the show. It means that always be ready to close the deal means that if someone wants a catalog, you have it in your pocket. It means that if they want to schedule a show, you've got your calendar with you. It means that you are always in a position to close the deal. And so part of being really good at scheduling shows is being invested in scheduling shows. Especially, this is especially true for new people in that, you know, have you put together the host packets? Have you marked up, like your calendar should be marked up like so that it looks really, really busy, really, really busy. And mine isn't really this busy, but really, really busy. So that when someone looks at it, they think, oh my gosh, she's busy. She's busy. I better pick my bait right now. So as a party plan consultant, write in every single date that your family has events, every single date that you have an appointment, every single date that something is going on, even if that doesn't relate to your business. And then have a sticky note. I call it front-loading your month. Like being prepared mentally to date shows is one of the most important parts of dating shows. So let's say that I want to do shows. As you can see, I'm pretty full at the beginning of the week. This happens to be January. But let's say I do shows on Thursday and Friday and Saturdays. Let's pretend. So I would take a sticky note, a highlight, the kind that stick on, whether it's the actual sticky note or little tabs or whatever, but stick them not on every Thursday, Friday, Saturday that's opened, only on the first 3 that are opened. So that when you have this calendar laying out in front of you, or right on your table when you're collecting orders, and someone might be interested, or they look at your calendar and they say you say what dates are good for you. They say Thursday. You can say I have any date available with a sticky note. Then they look and they see, oh my gosh, she's busy. Look at all this. Only 3 dates with a sticky note. And so, okay, I'll take it. So does the 13th work? Cool. Would you like to please put your name and telephone number and address on my calendar? I have them do it because that requires them to take some ownership of it. It helps them to be a better commitment to you. If they write it on themselves, they take ownership of it. And then as soon as she walks away, I take that sticky note and I put it on the 20th. Okay, it's called front-loading your month. Always fill the beginning of your calendar first. And so then the next one comes up, cool, the 12th. As soon as she walks away, put it on the 19th. And then in that way. But as a new consultant, it's really important that your calendar looks really, really busy, even into March. Because, oh, no, I'm not ready to schedule a show. Well, cool, what month were you thinking? August? Cool, you can have any note with a sticky note. You got all the things written down that you normally do on Thursdays and Fridays, even though it's August, and you got 3 sticky notes on the first 3 dates of August. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. As a consultant, to have your calendar prepared, in other words, the ABCs of being ready to schedule a show, means that you have prepared your calendar, put together host packets. The act of putting together host packets creates an emotional investment in scheduling, putting together host packets, and literally preparing your calendar so that you've invested this time and you look really, really busy. And so if you use digital, I'm sure I use digital online and this, but I use this more. I think that even in any environment, when you have a real calendar and someone can look at it and see how many dates you're busy, it establishes a sense of urgency. So everybody who, I thought I messed it up, invests in preparing themselves. Because when you put together host packets, you need to buy catalogs, you need to buy post flyers, you need to take the envelopes, you need to stamp them, right? So that investment is not just money, it's also time, it's also emotions. And so the ABCs of selling are emotionally investing in the act of being ready to schedule shows. Right?
Now, I have a question.
Yes?
Why did you put the sticky note on a different date than when they signed up? Like you went from the 12th to the
Well, no, the sticky, you can make your own system, okay? But my system was this. All the dates that are filled are looking like they are right now.
Yeah.
They're highlighted. So if somebody picked the 13th, they write their name and address in there, and then when I get my highlighter and I highlight it. Mm-hmm. So they were actually writing right on my calendar.
Oh, okay.
And then the sticky note only
Oh, you move it to the next available.
indicated the available date. So in this case, if they dated the 13th, I would move it to the 27th. And so if I was only scheduling shows, I used to do shows like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. When I say front load the month, literally, when you front load your month and really do the bulk of your shows in the first 3 weeks, it's like a business system. You know, talking about systems, right? You need your sales in at the end of the month, right? Have you ever heard of anybody here in another business where they operate on a fiscal calendar? Okay, fiscal calendar means that they're running differently than what the real calendar is. I don't know really what it means, but so, but my fiscal calendar always had, I never did shows like in the last week of the month because I did my fiscal calendar only in a 3-week basis, and that way I had the whole last week to get everything in by the end of the month. And my calendar was so, if your calendar is front loaded, first of all, if you have a cancellation, you can move them to the last week and still get them in that month. Second of all, if it's the 6th and you have someone really excited, you can still put them in the last week. But if you're doing your show in the last week, you can't put them in the first week. And so by heavily scheduling your show, your business early in the month, you have no worries about getting everything closed by, like you have this last week that's, it depends on how you do it, but it's more free for getting your sales in. If I did any shows after, say, the 22nd or the 23rd, the fiscal month meant that they were next month.
Right.
And so when you operate on that mentality, it's a system where you always have your sales for the month, and you're not hurting and struggling and wondering. You don't want to rush it. Part of having good shows is to have after the show sales, which is part of a different program, which we're not going to talk today about. But you know, host coaching so that they gather orders after the show, because if they have orders before, what's the easiest way to have orders after the show? Anybody know?
Give her a goal, her next goal.
Her next goal is 1. But that is perfect when you give them a goal. And if you have orders before the show, like say they have 8 or 10 orders before the show, it's easy to have orders after the show because they already have all their catalogs out, they've already been running around, they've been circulating everything, and all the people that didn't show up already have the books. And so the best way to get orders after the show is to encourage them to have 8 orders before the show. Because when you have 8 orders before the show, she's got all this activity going on. And then people show up and order, but then the activity's still out there and the moving train's still going. And so it's easy to set the goal, like Carol said, and then go back out to the people that never responded that you got all hyped up before the show and get your orders after the show. The secret to orders after the show is orders before the show. Right?
Okay.
It's true. Try it.
Yeah.
It's like getting a train going. So once you get a train going, it's hard to stop. And the thing is that a lot of consultants might stop the train at the show because they want to get it in really quick. But if you host coach to have the show submitted within a week of the show and date, then you don't tell them everything up on day 1. We're not going to talk about host coaching too much today, but we'll give away another CD about host coaching. If I get sidetracked, then that's all the less on bookings we get to talk about. Where's the prize drawing bucket?
Oh.
Pick a winner. This is how to host coaching for a $1,000 show. One of the ways to host coach for a $1,000 show is to coach your host to have 8 orders when you arrive.
Carrie Moynihan.
All right, cool. All right, back to the calendar. All right, where were we? Oh, so here, the sticky notes are indicating the available dates. And so, and I would go, if to prepare your calendars, mark all your busy things, if you know that the kids are in soccer every 4th Tuesday of the month, go ahead and put that in for August, and September, and October. Memo. I teach culinary school, that's a memo from college. So, if someone says they would like to have a show, they're half interested in having a show, and after lunch we'll talk a little more about looking at your shows, but then, oh no, I don't want to do it right away, we're moving, I want to wait until after. Okay, what month is good? Ask the questions. to give you the answers you want. Not, I'll call you, not, okay, but what month is good? See, that's telling you, oh, and then she either has to say, well, I can't decide now, or she has to say, August. August, cool. August is a terrific month for a show because that's the month we always have a new catalog, or whatever. You can have any date with a sticky note. If you got your soccer and you got it, oh my gosh, August is 5 months away and she's got all that going on and these are the only dates available. 1, 2, 3, front load your month. She picks the 2nd, you move the 2nd down to the 9th, good to go. Control your calendar. That's the first step to being really good at scheduling. Here's the thing about scheduling. Remember, we're not booking anymore, we're scheduling. A lot of new people here. As I said, there's a lot of things to learn. Oh, we have a camera person. I keep moving around on her.
I got you.
When we come in this industry, there's only 5 things you have to learn. It's not a complicated industry. You need to present. You need to be good at scheduling. You need to host coach, which is something you don't do in any other industry. You need to recruit, which is a bad word too. And you need to teach people how to create income. You need to coach people. So that's 5 things that you learn in this business, but what happens is you're learning them all at once. And it can be overwhelming for new people. I totally know where you're at. The thing is that you will never become an expert at anything in this industry until you become an expert at scheduling shows. Because when you're an expert at scheduling shows and your calendar is full, you can become an expert presenter, you can become an expert recruiter, you can become an expert host coacher, and then eventually you'll become an expert at teaching other people how to do the same. But until you learn how to be an expert at filling your calendar, you cannot become an expert at anything else, even though you're doing it all at once. So this is a really important workshop, and you should all thank Carol for having it.